disclose all of this. The difference is the formers didn't use private.
You are listening to WOOP-LP, Cleveland, Tennessee. WOOP FM is a broadcasting service of the Traditional Music Resource Center, and we play America's original music.
Good morning and welcome to Make It Grow here on WOOP FM 99.9, or you can go to the internet at www.woopfm.com. You can call us here at 614-5553. Good morning, everybody. How are y'all doing today?
Morning, we're doing great.
Y'all means all of us.
Hey, that's all right. Y'all, you. This is Make It Grow. It's a joint project of the WOOP FM and the Bradley County Master Gardeners Organization here in Bradley County, of course. And we're going to talk about anything if you want to make it grow, and some things if you don't want it to make it grow, like weeds. And sometime if you have a critter problem, we might even be able to talk about critters and insects. So we'll make it grow or make it stop growing. It's according to what you want to talk about today. So just give us a call here at 614-5553 with any gardening questions, lawns, trees, shrubs, grass.
Mm-hmm. Our native plants are blooming at our house.
Yes.
We have yellow trilliums, and we have the native buckeyes, the little bushes that have the red blooms on them.
Yeah, the native azaleas should be coming on pretty strong too right now.
I don't think I have any of those.
They're beautiful and they're fragrant too.
And what color are they? Just a variety of colors?
Yeah, pinks, golds, oranges, real pretty.
We there's a vacant lot close to our house too, and instead of having the big red plume on the buckeye plant that I was talking about, saw one this morning with yellow blooms. I'm gonna have to go over and borrow me one of those. Go mark it now, I guess, and move it this fall.
So it's still maybe a day or two early before to plant your vegetables.
The warm season vegetables like the tomatoes and the peppers, I still think we've got a little bit of cool temperatures coming.
But I want to plant them so bad.
then you'll be ready to cover them up.
Yeah, then I want to replant them again when they freeze.
Yeah, and they just really aren't going to thrive or start putting on a lot of new growth or grow a lot until the soil and the air warms up a little bit more.
So now, cool weather plants, are you too late to put them out, or onions or?
Oh, not so much with the onions, but some of the greens and the cauliflowers and broccolis and Brussels sprouts. As the temperatures get warmer, radishes are fine. Radishes are done in 3-4 weeks, and they're under the ground, so that's not an issue. It's the greens and the broccolis. By the time they get ready to be ready, they're going to have bolted, and the heat's going to be stressing them out. You just won't get good production.
I know I planted garlic late last fall and read everything you're supposed to do, and I had all kind of garlic, and that last big cold snap come through, killed everything except one plant. So I said, oh, my goodness, I thought they were supposed to make it through all this, but it got them.
It got really cold, though.
It did. So I'll have one garlic this year at least.
And stayed cold.
Well, if
one garlic.
Yeah, you can divide it and get some more.
Yeah.
If you don't eat it.
I also planted asparagus last year, and when will that come up? Should it be starting to come out of the ground yet?
Yes, you should start to see some little nubs coming up. Since this is your second year, you might actually get a little bit of production, but you'll get better production each year.
I just planted them this. This is the first time I've ever tried them.
You'll see the plant itself grow. You won't probably get any asparagus spikes.
Yes.
But and then the second year you'll be able to start to
Well, the first year will the plant get to be 4 foot tall this year?
Oh yeah, and real pretty airy foliage, looks almost fern-like. And then in the fall, it'll have
I've got some things coming up out of the ground there. It looked like fern-like growing. I said, now, is that one of them pine seeds over in there?
No, and if you go in the garden center and you see the asparagus fern that's real light and airy and fluffy looking, that's the same type of foliage that your asparagus plant will have.
I've got a couple then coming up.
Yep.
So one that's about 4 or 5 inches tall already. So I almost jerked it out of the ground and said, oh, there's one of them darn little pine shoots that comes up. And
it'll be attached to your little asparagus root that you planted, so don't do that.
So I'll leave that in there a day or two. So, all right, great. Flowers, when do you start planting the flowers? Is it still too early?
I do believe so.
Or what about pansies? Is it too late for those?
Yeah, there are people that insist on planting the spring pansies, but unless you're in a shady, cool area, they're going to start to show some signs of stress
Not
when we get up
long
in the
at all.
70s and 80s. Yeah, to me, it's like putting your money
Mm-hmm.
someplace where you don't want to put your money. So
So in patience, still too early to do that, and they're a shade plan
Yeah.
anyway.
there are a couple of spring and summer annuals that'll last you through both seasons. Snapdragons are real good. Dianthus is real good. There's one called Stock that looks a little bit like a snapdragon or a sweet pea that has some fragrance. Those will last you from spring in through the summer, and then by then you'd be ready to put in your impatiens and your pansies and your petunias and begonias.
You know, last year I got to be a member of the Master Gardeners class, which I really enjoyed. And the last fall, I took my hostas and I split those.
You divided them?
And I got
Never
my
go
irises and broke them up and moved them around. And I have a lot of irises this year, and I've got hostas where I didn't have hostas last year. So it actually works.
Yeah, sometimes dividing the iris will set them back a little bit. You
Yeah.
might not get those blooms, but as long as you plant them real high and take good care of them, they'll be fine.
Mention the pancake day.
Pancake Day. Yeah, okay. The Kiwanis Club is here in the Village Green today. It's the mall still to me. I grew up here. This is the Village Mall. But the old Village Mall, the Village Green, is the Kiwanis Club. Once a year has a fundraiser, and they have a pancake breakfast. It's $7 for pancakes and sausage and drinks. And so come on down, support the good causes of the Kiwanis Club.
They will be here until 10:30.
10:30.
And I believe they have indoor and outdoor seating this morning.
And
So we'll hope you'll come out and support
the
them.
good news is this is not election year, so there's no politicians here. Now,
It is politician free.
on the day that they're the election year, there would be a lot of politicians out here shaking hands, but not many. There's a couple of politicians.
No fear. Come on out.
There's actually a couple of politicians serving pancakes today, though. So they are good people when they're not serving.
When they're not campaigning.
When they're not campaigning or in office or. Yeah,
But come out and join them this morning.
It does smell good.
It
Yeah.
did smell good when we came through.
Rick, I know that you're right in the middle of the junior gardening class.
Correct.
And for those listeners, I think you've heard talk about it. That's where the juvenile court system assigns some young men and young women who've got into a little bit of trouble, and the judge sort of gave them an option: go to jail or go to gardening class. And I think most of them say, "Oh, gardening class sounds like a lot of fun," and they say, and of course they roll their eyes the first few days, but it's pretty amazing what they do grow. And I know that I was involved in the fall class quite a bit and hadn't been able to come to this class due to my knee here, but I'm about ready to start coming back and helping there. Tell us what's going on down there real quick. How many students you have and what's going on at this session?
Well, currently we got 9 students in this session, and we're towards the middle of it. Now, you spoke earlier, Miss Faith spoke about planting tomatoes out. We did get our tomatoes out early. We've done that for the class, so the class can see some, hopefully some production before they end the class, so they can reap some of their rewards. This seems to be a wonderful class. Everybody's participating. They're not squeamish about bugs, and they're all right about getting their hands dirty, which is unusual.
We've got a couple of mentors this year too, Ricky, don't we?
Yes, we actually have 2 young people, young gentlemen that came from last year's class, and they wanted to help mentor this new class, so they have been attending our classes.
That's great. And how's the greenhouse working out?
Greenhouse is working out great. We started several tomatoes and pepper plants this year. It's not a big production. We didn't do a whole lot in the greenhouse because there's still a few items we're going to get, and we're slowly adding to it so we can next year everything hopefully will come from our greenhouse.
Yeah, we were able to get a few things tucked away in there when we had some cold nights over the weekends.
Yeah.
We could stick the seedlings in there and keep them protected from the cold air.
Well, I know the last time I come to this class a couple times before I fell. Not there, but I fell somewhere else. And they'd planted little pods, little seed, and we planted some seeds. And how'd that turn out? I hadn't been back to see. Did the seeds come up?
Yes, majority of the seeds came up that the kids had. Some of the plants we actually put in the garden. I think the last cold snap killed quite a few of them, because it was a little early. But yeah, those little pod plants, those are little miniature greenhouses. They were wonderful for the kids to see the plants come up and learn hands-on, how to deep plant the seeds, spacing. They've been learning about how to space their plants when they transplant them from the little pods into the garden area. So they're learning quite a bit.
Yeah, well, it's amazing, and I know some of the crops they grew in the fall class was just amazing. There was one turnip about the size of my head, which was it was huge.
I think we measured it at 21.5 inches around.
Now that's as young people who didn't know what a turnip was when they started, most likely.
Correct.
We're talking about kids sometimes didn't know that carrots came from the ground, not Walmart.
Correct.
That's so. But it's interesting to see them, watch them grow, and particularly that thing when it does come up from a seed. And I know we grew bok choy last year, and first time I ever saw it grow, and man, was a greenhouse. Thanks to Tennessee Valley Electric Cooperative. Now I get that. It used to be Energy.
Yes, VEC.
VEC
gave us a little grant that we applied for.
Right.
Volunteer.
Excuse me. I'm thinking about
once
the
you
old.
said the wrong name, I couldn't come up with.
That's the old power company from 1918. So
they did not give the money for the grant.
No, it wasn't that group. I'm going. Volunteer.
And we just have to thank Volunteer Energy because it's pretty incredible the amount of money that the people that pay their bills each month donate $1, and they take those dollars and they put them back into the schools and into great projects like this.
So they help buy the
and
greenhouse.
Ricky can go back, every time that they and continue to ask for little things to go with it, and the folks there at the grant program love that.
And since this is a nonprofit, you can go ahead and donate money if you want to. If you got plants you'd like to donate, I'm sure that we'd take some plants. And if you got a shovel you'd like to give us, and a rake, and anything that, because this is a all volunteer organization, and like I say, the court systems allow us to do this. So we don't get any money for doing this, or there's no.
Correct.
So, but thanks to Faith, there's a lot of people who donate plants already.
Yeah,
Can you name
time and energy.
Yeah, the school, Miss Karras down at Bradley, she's helped us out with some seedlings and gotten some.
What a great program down at Bradley High School. It does that too.
Yeah.
Hey, if you got any questions for Make It Grow here, call us at 614-5553. If you got in particular about any particular planting, lawns, grass, trees, thing. If we don't know the answer today, because I doubt we know everything. Faith knows about everything. We're reliable.
I wouldn't go that far.
But we can find you the answer, though.
That's
on
right.
Facebook the other day, one of my friends was commenting that she had very few dandelions or anything like that in her yard until after the tornado. That she somehow equated it with the tornado, that she's now all dandelion. And she was asking what to do to her lawn that would not kill her lawn but would kill those beautiful yellow flowers.
Oh yeah, there's plenty of treatments for broadleaf weed control that are safe to use in all your different types of turf grass.
Well, my experience has been you put it on there, and for it initially you'll see little brown spots and stuff, but the grass soon covers that up.
Yeah.
And it's important to the timing of that. You don't want to do it like right before rain. You'd rather do it right after a rain or in the morning when the grass is still a little bit wet with dew, so that those chemicals can adhere to the surface of your broadleaf weeds, and it'll be more effective.
I don't put out much stuff like that because I like my wildflowers, and I don't want to get any of those. But we have little violets and sweet williams and the
Those are a little bit harder to get rid of than the dandelions. Some of those little violets and the onion, the wild onion that's grown in the yard, those are a little bit harder, and you might need to use a different product.
But
for
I like
those.
the native plants, so we have areas that we only mow a couple of times a year, and we won't mow it until probably the 1st of July.
That's good for
Her
your
Johnny-
bees and bumblebees and butterflies and things. They need that.
Yeah. Her and Johnny get along very well.
I'll start going, what's that little white flower that looks like a, and she'll tell me. But we don't have as many as we used to. We have more varmints in our yard now since they've started doing the Exit 20 excavations. All of God's little creatures have come to our house.
Well, they need someplace to go.
And I'm pretty sure that the deer are eating the stems off of my trillium. Something is, because the flower will still be there, but the whole stem's gone. But I'm thinking, it's okay. It'll come back next year.
That's right.
Just nature.
Yeah.
And well, I'm thinking,
It's one of those things we're just going to have to deal with.
yeah.
Well, and of course, then the deer also helps fertilize that area too. So you have
Yeah.
to think about that.
We've had turkeys in our yard recently too, which is a pretty fun thing.
So,
Which terrified our 3-year-old granddaughter.
Rick, you going to do a garden this year?
Yes, sir. I sure am.
What are you going to plant?
Mainly, there's 3 crops. 2 that I want and 1 that my wife wants. Tomatoes, peppers, of course, and then she wants squash. All kinds of squash. So majority of my garden's going to be squash.
Have you ever tried that spaceship-looking squash? It's a white squash. You know what I'm talking about? It looks like a little spaceship when you grow it. You'll have to try one of those.
They're
I
almost
believe it's a
a
winter squash.
white, greenish
they are.
color. I don't know. Did we actually cook any of those?
Oh yeah, it's good. It's something about it's a different.
It's just a different
Has a different
squash.
pH. or
What
something.
about spaghetti squash? When you open up the insides of it,
I've not done that yet.
it looks like spaghetti pasta inside, and they say that you can kind of trick your kids into eating it as spaghetti. That is not really true unless your children are really, really gullible.
If you cover enough spaghetti
sauce on it.
and meatballs and make it fattening,
To me, I could still tell it was squash, but it was really interesting to open up that squash and see the spaghetti-like pasta-looking insides of it.
Well, every year I try to just put something in the ground, not a lot, just to see what happens.
Oh, I do that. I do that to things I don't even eat.
Well, yeah.
just
Yeah,
to
we
see
do
it
that
grow.
too.
Well, a lot of times I never have to worry about that part of it.
Ron will grow it
I'm doing
3/4 of the way, and then something tragic will happen.
I'm
to it.
writing a book on how to kill plants. Got my study done. I've got a few more things I need to kill.
What did you say you were going to try to do? You were going to try to do the Brussels sprouts.
I
Is
tried
that what
He
Brussels
actually
sprouts.
picks rough things. Yeah.
How about artichokes? That's one you should.
Well, I'm doing asparagus this year, so that's the first time I've ever tried that. And I planted garlic. I never planted garlic, and the cold snap I'm going to grow one, so I'll have one. It looks pretty good, you know.
That's a success story.
Yeah, it is. So now my Brussels sprouts were huge plants, beautiful green foliage. I mean, they were beautiful. They never made any Brussels sprouts. They made the little. You could see the little knot.
Making fruit annually, or is it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, what was so funny? The plant was gorgeous, and it had like one Brussels sprout.
Sometimes that has to do with the amount of fertilizers that you have. If you put the wrong fertilizer on or at the wrong time, it'll make a whole bunch of plant and not a whole lot of fruit.
Okay.
So
It
you
was
just
a
kind of have
gorgeous
to
plant.
adjust that a little bit.
Now, every time we always talk about pH in the soil, and there's several ways of doing that. The number one way is what? Go to
The UT extension. What is it now? It's not just UT.
UT Tennessee State.
They merged them together
Right.
and made a big title instead of what we used to be just UT Extension.
Is that the old ag?
It's the agricultural center right down on Church Street.
Church.
95 Church
I was
Street.
going to say 91. I was close. 728-7002.
Yes.
All right, there's the telephone number. Tell them what you do.
Oh, if your fertilizer for your soil, you can go down there, and I did it yesterday. I actually picked up 2 soil kits at the ag office, and you'll go home, and you'll take your soil, and you want to get a small sample of different areas of your garden. You don't want to just do it in one area. You want to get a big sample collected from several small areas of your garden, kind of get a good mixture going, and then they have a little box that you'll just make sure it's good and dry, pack it in this box, take it to their office, or you can send it in. There is I believe a $7 cost for the basic test, and they will send you back results and tell you what you need for a certain kind of garden. If you request, like if you want to grow corn, they will tell you what you will need to grow corn, or strawberries. They will tell you what you need to add to your soil to grow strawberries. So based on what you want, individually. They will give you some results back on that test and tell you what you can add to make it at their garden grow really well.
No, it basically is the pH in the soil is the one thing is that certain plants like a high pH, some like it more acidic, and so.
And then there's those group that like it right there in the neutral middle. Our soils tend to run a little on the alkaline spectrum, and that's why every so often people will go out and they'll like lime their yards every other year, every third year to try to keep that balance so that their turf grasses will be more healthy.
Well, I live in an area where a lot of pine trees, a lot. So, the soil's going to be a little bit more acidic. And so you have to watch that. And, of course, I probably over-lime one time and do it at the wrong time. And that's why I went to this Master Gardener's class. And now I know why I'm killing them.
That'll help your book.
Yeah, it helps my book. I know why they're actually dying now. But it's hey, you can call us here at 614-5553. Make sure the phones work. Sometimes they mess up. And we'll be here till 9:45 this morning, answering your questions. And
Ricky, what's going on at the mall today? Is it the mall? Is something going on at the mall?
No, it's over at the college.
Cleveland State.
Well, tell us what's going on at Cleveland State this morning. Ron and I are really with it today. I just knew something was going on somewhere.
Well, Faith probably knows a little more about it.
Okay.
It's the Cleveland State Green Day.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
What's going on over there, Faith?
Well, this is our day to be out there and be tree huggers. There'll be, yeah, well, I think some of us might fall into that category. There's a lot of programs out there that are going to deal with the beekeepers are out there, and the Arbor Day people are out there with the trees. The park services are out there. The gardening clubs are out there. All kinds of recycling groups will be out there representing what they're doing in the community. We've got a booth up there, and we'll be talking about what we do. And we're going to set up a little makeshift demonstration about straw bale gardening, which is a big thing that's coming out, and show you how to treat the straw bale to get it to grow. We're going to, I think Dave will probably be out there talking about his vermiculture, which is composting with worms. But there'll be food, and there's usually music, and we're there from 10 to 2 today.
Okay.
right. So
And is that a free event?
It is.
where,
Yes.
where is it located? On what end of the campus is it? It's an outside event, right?
Yeah, I think
Correct.
they moved the location this year. We're with the weather as it is today, as far as I know, we're still going to be down near the tennis courts and the ball fields.
Okay.
But it used to be up closer to the
So
to
the north
to the
end of the
buildings.
campus, if you're going there. Okay, great. Well,
Yeah,
that's
probably can't miss all the tents and all the
I'm sure-
activity.
And sometime the people have seedlings to give you and things of that nature,
there's
and plants.
plant swap is still going
Yeah.
on.
Good. If you now you work for a nursery down in Ooltewah,
I do.
Ooltewah Nursery. Matter of fact, just give them a tip.
Little plug for the business.
Well, you do that, but
It is a gorgeous place.
Oh, yeah,
by the
we
way.
drove
we've
by
got almost
there,
20 acres of everything you could possibly want.
we were by there. When was we? Oh, just the other night.
Thursday
Thursday
night.
night we drove by there, and they're already closed, so it was a little later.
Yeah.
Um,
We have started staying open until 7 p.m.,
Yeah.
so we can catch
we
more
had
people after
we had
work
been
coming
across
by.
the street at Southern Burger.
Oh, yeah.
That's a first attempt at that, and I had a chicken sandwich.
Okay.
But
It was actually a good chicken sandwich, but he tries to stay away from the beef.
yeah,
Between Southern Burger, Lupe's Pizza, and then there's a yogurt shop over there. That
Yeah.
little,
And a
that
coffee
little
shop, yeah.
That little Cambridge Square is hopping.
it sure is. That's we just heard about it and drove down there. But if you want to buy plants, we had a couple of guys called old farmers that would come on. That we did our regular history show on. Just about they talked about growing with the signs and how
The
they
phases of the moon.
and how they done all kind of home remedies and and things for weed killing and how they check their pH and so they talked about getting plants. Where do you recommend you get your plants? And not all of us is going to have heirloom seeds, that passed down from our families for 100 years. I wish I still had my grandfather's seeds that he did, but I don't. But where do you buy? How do you want to buy seeds? How do you want to buy plants? I mean, we know Lowe's and Home Depots and Walmarts and your nurseries. Is there any good place or bad place? We're not going to badmouth any company. It's just, what is the best way to buy plants?
Well, the best way, it's not where you're buying the plants, it's the condition the plants are in. And when you look at your seedlings or your seed package, you want to, on the back of the seed packets, if we start with seeds, you want to look, there's a date on the back that tells you how fresh those seeds are. You pay attention to the germination rates on the seed packages. You pay attention to if there's a little map on the back that'll show the United States, and it's color-coded as to what month you'd be planting those seeds and how long it'll take for those plants to come to maturity and produce fruit. And you want to have that timing right. You don't want to be planting a plant at the wrong time, so it's never going to have a chance to produce fruit for you. So pay attention to all those things when you're looking at seeds. But when you're looking at a seedling, you want to, and you're allowed to do this at the garden centers, you can tug on it a little bit, pull it up, look at the roots and make sure the roots aren't real tight in there, because that plant has probably been root bound a little bit. You want to look for something that's short and stubby more than something that's tall and lengthy, unless, of course, it's a vine that you're buying, then you'd want it to be long. The color of the foliage is real important. It should be a deep, dark green, not something pale. And all those things are going to indicate that the plants are healthy. So it doesn't matter where you're getting them, but you want to get something that's nice and fresh and new, because you're going to have much better success with those things.
No, you mentioned heirloom plants. A lot of times you'll just have to look around for those. I know I was at the Mennonite above Delano.
Yes.
And I found some heirloom plants there my tomato plants that I'm going to put in my garden is where I got those. And I try to put as many heirloom plants as I can, but I still do the beefsteaks and the Rutgers and the the typical tomatoes. But I'll pick a heirloom variety or two, and I will try to save some seeds from that for next year's or the year after.
That was interesting. Those guys talked about saving seeds. These are two good old farmers, and Mr. Roark down in McDonald's I've seen his garden, and that's what a garden's supposed to look like. I mean, everything's green in a straight row. I mean, it's perfect, type stuff. But they had different ways of how they kept their seeds when they got their plants out, and some of them froze them, some of them kept them in a dry place. Any particular way that you think you ought to save your seeds?
Me personally, I keep mine in it's in a dry place. It's almost like a root cellar. It's nice and cool and dark. I keep them in the back of my storm shelters. Is where I keep them.
Do you put them in? Do you seal them up in anything, or do you want them to have air? Or what would be the best way?
Some of mine are sealed, some are not. I really haven't seen a big difference either way.
Right. I would probably not seal them in plastic, but if you're even thinking about saving them at all, you do need to make sure that the plant seeds that you're saving are going to be the heirloom seeds, because if you save a seed that's from a hybridized plant, when you try to grow it the next year, it's not going to grow what you're expecting to grow. So you want to pay attention to that.
One guy said he froze his, and of course, if you think about it, if the seed falls in nature, the fruit falls on the ground, and it goes into the ground, or the insects eat it, and it freezes, and so freezing it doesn't really kill a seed, does it?
No.
So it's interesting. It's amazing to see a tomato seed, which isn't a very big thing, and next year it grows these huge tomatoes and all that. That's just a miracle that you got to see. And there's nothing like a fresh mater, not a tomato. You're not from this zip code originally, are you? Well, we eat maters. That's when you go to the garden and you get your own. That's a mater, and that ain't nothing like you go buy at the store. I mean, that mater from the garden, and you could just put one out in a bucket. You need a good sized bucket, and you can grow a tomato, right?
And there's still people out there that really do not realize what a difference it is between a store-bought tomato or your mater that came out of your garden, right, that's fully ripened on the vine, and a lot of that has to do with the tomatoes in the grocery store are picked well before they're ripened, and so they don't have a chance to get those flavors in them because they're being shipped when they're still green, so that they can be transported, and then they're treated and gassed and whatever they do to them to ripen them up, and you just don't get that flavor at all.
If you go to the store, you will see the tomatoes there will be perfectly round, and they may be really red on the outside, and then when you grow at home might have some turns and twists. It may not be perfectly red all around, but when you cut it, the difference is inside that tomato is so much difference. The flavor and there are people who will go out to tomato and wipe the tomato off and just have it right there in the garden before they take them in, and I never get back in the house.
And pop those Tommy toes right in your
Tommy
mouth.
toes in your mouth. Well, yeah.
Yep.
You just spit on it and wipe it off and put it in your mouth, right?
That's right.
That's it.
Yeah. So
Strawberry season should be coming here pretty soon. Our strawberry plants are blooming pretty good, aren't they, Ricky?
Yes.
We got a little strawberry patch going up there with the kids at the juvenile center.
Actually,
It's a big strawberry patch.
they've grown so much this year, we're thinning them out. So we're going to have to do a lot of thinning in one section
And
of
we'll
it.
take some down in the community garden and make us a strawberry
And,
patch over there.
we'd like to Beatty Feed and Hardware donated some, or Beatty,
He donates
but
the
some
beautiful
grow
soil.
mix that he
Clayton Beatty.
Clayton, and I gotta get me some of that stuff. That grows. That is some really good growing.
Yeah, we can attribute some of the abundance of strawberries to that grow mix.
Oh, yeah.
So he donated, I think, a load over there to you. And
The,
I
the
he's
last couple of
actually-
seasons.
Yeah.
I think you, and if you want to buy it, I'm sure. Well, that's what Clayton does. He sells it,
Yeah.
but
Right.
it's an unbelievable mix that you could supplement your
I
garden.
wonder if he mixes that
He
himself.
does.
Blends it himself.
does.
Wow.
It's amazing what we grew up there, and you have to attribute it to the soil and love and care on top of it. But these kids are only there one day a week,
Yeah, we
Right.
got them for 2 hours, so
2 hours.
once a week.
and they do 1 hour classroom, 1 hour of out in the garden. And so this is pretty much was just amazing. So I'm sure Clayton could tell you what that mix is, and he could get a truckload to your house, pour it on your garden spot, or make you a pile. And if you want to do your plants, your flowers or your flower bed, or this would be good
Yeah,
for
he
anything.
formulates
Yeah.
some other fertilizers
potting.
down there too. It's something that they've been doing. They're making some different types of fertilizers engineered towards your lawns or engineered towards different plants.
The stuff that we got for the raised bed, he incorporated. It's almost like a ceramic pellet throughout the mixture to help with moisture control.
Right.
Because raised beds do lose moisture.
Right.
And I know when we talked about getting the soil for it, he wanted to add that in there for the moisture control. So if you have a specific raised bed area you want to do, you go and talk to Clayton. He can tell you what you need to do. Hook you up with some kind of mixture.
I'm going to have to get Clayton in the truck to my house, I think. I need some of that stuff. I need all the
Getting
help
ready
I
to
can
do-
get.
We're going to do some other stuff at our house too. So everything we have, we're going to mess up to make it better. We've got some old stump holes in our front yard from the tornado of '93. We had stumps removed. Well, after this much time, it
We-
rots. Everything under the ground
It
has
keeps
rotted.
sinking. And we'll fill it in. It keeps sinking.
And,
So we're at another level. We have seven big places in our yard now. It's sunk again. So
Big places.
we need a backhoe to come in and dig it down.
You've got some kind of a sinkhole or a cavern or something under there.
I think it's just from the pine trees, but you can break a leg in one of those
pine
holes.
tree stumps just
Oh,
continue
okay.
to do that.
And
they have that tap root down there.
We
that-
have a turf, and so it will kind of camouflage the hole. It'll go over the top of the hole, and you step in it. So it's dangerous. So we're ready to do that. And we're going.
The guy who mows my yard sort of has seen every time he about wrecks. It's one of those
He
holes.
said we need to get this fixed,
So,
and
yeah.
we've got some work that needs to be done on the side of our house
Well,
too.
we
So
need-
we're going
we
to be
need
digging
to-
up everything here.
We
pretty
need to
soon.
aerate. Aerate. Is that the right? Did I say it right? Does that sound too southern when I say aerate? That's that. Aerate.
There you go.
Yeah, aeration and
Aeration.
overseeding that you
Faith
do.
can help us on that. Aeration.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's all right.
We're
I
going
needed
to-
the help.
But
Because
we're
I
getting ready to
aerate.
do, we're going to do that real soon, I think.
Do
We're
that
not-
and probably need to put some lime in and some other.
And that depends on what type of turf grass you're growing. If you're
Yeah.
doing the warm season grasses, this is the time to
It
renovate.
turns brown in October. I mean, it turns brown during the winter.
Yeah, you have warm season grass,
Right.
either a Bermuda or a zoysia type of grass.
I'm always so happy when the green comes back.
It's one time I kept getting my yard smaller and smaller than I had after the tornado. We in not the
93.
snowstorm '93. We lost 70 trees or something like that. So we got the trees cleared out. Next thing you know, I've got more yard. I had come in. So
Lot of more
they
yard.
fixed my yard, and I said, I didn't want grass all the way back down there. I like that natural wooded forest look that I have. Now I have more yard.
And you got a lot more sunshine. You might have had shady spots
Yes,
before.
we have a lot more
So you have to grow
sunshine.
different plants in sun than you do in shade.
You can't grow anything in that dirt.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of. I don't have a great garden spot anyway. So, but
I think that's why you like the natives, right? The natives will grow in this poor
They just
soil that
grow.
we have
They're
here.
beautiful. Yeah.
yeah, that's one thing I haven't been able to kill yet because I haven't planted many of them. But you can call us here at 614-5553 if you have a question about your gardening. If you, I know, still a little early for your vegetables. A little early. Here, someone call. Good morning. You're live on Make It Grow.
Good morning, Mr. Ron.
Morning.
How are you and Deb doing?
We cannot complain because nobody listen.
Baby, listen, you know who this is?
No, tell me who this is.
Why, this is Yvonne Anderson.
Hey, Yvonne. I thought that was you, but I said, well, I say the wrong person. I'll be in trouble.
Right. I'm still trying to find out how to grow rhubarb. You know, I was trying to find that out last year.
I'm not sure that's a good plan around here. Faith's looking in her giant
Wait.
gardener's handbook.
It is in here, but it is not easy to grow here. It's
Well,
like
let me tell you, why do they sell strawberry rhubarb preserves out at the apple orchard if somebody's not growing it somewhere?
well, somebody is growing it, but it's not easy for the everyday.
My understanding is
homeowner to-
that it likes.
Let's hear you, Ron.
Well, I read a little bit about last year. Is it that it likes colder weather, and then like if it's above 70 a whole lot, that it doesn't grow well, which that sort of gets Tennessee,
Right.
and then it likes cooler weather even in the wintertime to grow. That's my understanding, but Faith's going to look it up in her big manual here.
it's in the Master Gardener's book. We have a page for every vegetable.
Oh, that's great.
Hold on a second. She's
I'm
thumbing
not
through it.
sure. Have you ever seen rhubarb, Ron, up at the farmer's market
now, I have
in
to admit,
Delano?
I-
I may not know what it looks like.
I don't know what it looks like.
Listen, it looks like big elephant leaves. It's the leaf, you know, like a leaf that would be about the size of a basketball,
Uh-huh.
and then the stalk is
A little bit like celery.
the stalk is like celery, but it's actually a burgundy in color, and then the root of a rhubarb goes all the way into your ground, and you know, it flourishes well in Michigan. And when I brought the rhubarb roots down when Daddy died, you know, and I had to, you know, I brought the Canadian maple and I brought the rhubarb roots, and I doctored on that rhubarb for 3 summers and 3 springs, and it came up, but I never could get it to flourish.
I think the heat probably what gets it here.
Oh no, Ron! I kept it in like a real secluded place where it just didn't get no shade, and you know, like you said, the heat could have something to do with it. But surely to goodness, if you know the man out there at the apple orchard that grows all the beautiful apples out of
Yeah. Oh, sure. Yeah.
if he can sell me a jar of strawberry rhubarb preserves, he's getting that rhubarb from somewhere.
Well, that might be the answer there, Yvonne. He may be getting
May
it
just
from
have-
somewhere. I don't
may
know.
have to ask him.
For an year to find the answer.
Can we get her information?
Yeah.
Our book skips right from. It skips right over rhubarb. It goes from radishes
Yvonne,
to
I've got
spinach.
Yvonne,
But I will get the information for her if she gives us her contact
Okay, well,
information.
See, we lost our computer in half of our house in 2011, so I have no access to that no more.
okay. We will.
And we'll be here next week.
You're
so we
on
can get it back
Facebook,
to her.
aren't you?
Yeah, I do your pressing question of the day.
Yeah, yes, you do.
And I share all
You should hear the ones we come up with that we can't put on there, Yvonne.
Facebook. Yeah, Deb, I believe that. The only reason I got the Facebook is because Jamie bought me one of these little iPhones or something, you know, and you could go on the Facebook that way. But as far as having a computer and all that stuff, honey, we've never rebuilt that back side of the house.
What will I do? What you do? You send me your telephone number, and Faith is going to look it up, and she will give you a call.
Why would I want to send you my telephone number on the Facebook, honey? That would be sort
We'll
of...
put it on the on
Well, if you-
private message to
That's
one
why.
of
Yeah,
us.
put it on a private message to me.
I don't know how to do that.
Well,
Well,
ask Jamie. He'll show you.
Yvonne,
She could call you after the show and give it to you privately.
100 hours a day.
hey Yvonne, I will send you a private message, and you just answer me then.
But, Ron, you don't understand. I don't have a way of getting that.
Okay. what I
Put me on hold and let Debbie take that.
there you go. Hold on a second here. I'm going to hand the phone to her. Don't you hang up. If we lose you, we'll get back.
Okay.
All right. There you go, Deb.
Because we'll be here next week and we get that answer back to her too, if need be.
Like I said, I read about it, and it said that this is just a region where rhubarb doesn't grow.
And we sell it at the nursery that I work at, but I have not. I've had 1 or 2 customers that have said they'd had any success. Most of them say that they fail. So I'm sure that it's something to do with the humidity here, the temperatures here.
Is there other things, like sugar maples? Do they do as good here as they do up north?
Like river birch. Like Colorado blue spruce. Everyone wants a Colorado blue spruce in their yard because they're beautiful trees. There's a reason they call them Colorado blue spruce, and they don't call them Tennessee blue spruce. They really struggle here in the heat and humidity. Even if you, you could take them up further up in the mountains or someplace where it's cooler. But it's really the humidity. Those trees just cannot thrive here.
No, the river birch, do they do okay?
We have different cultivars of river birch that do better down here, and they're called Duraheat because of the heat and the humidity down here in the south. The ones you see up in Wisconsin or up in the north with the beautiful white bark, those are not the cultivars you're going to see down here because they just cannot thrive in this environment.
Is a river birch one? It looks like the
white
bark,
peeling, white peeling bark.
On 25th Street, right there behind it used to be the Cherokee Valley Bank. They have huge river birch in there. So is that a different kind there?
They are different kinds.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
When you go up north and you see the ones up north, the bark is pristine, beautiful, snow white bark with the dark peeling, and they just don't look like the cultivars we have here because they just wouldn't survive here.
Yeah, there's a lot of different things that just doesn't grow in every setting. Go ahead, you're live on Make It Grow.
Hey, Make It Grow. This is RD.
Hey, RD, how you doing, sir?
Well, doing well. Welcome back. I don't know if y'all lost a transmitter or what.
We lost a piece of a thingamajig. It went to the other thingamajig, and they broke.
A doohickey and a whatchamacallit.
That was about the explanation.
Real quick, RD, you'll not understand this. We have to convert things to digital to send it over a T1 line to the tower, and then that tower, of course, the other thing on the other end converts it back to analog and broadcasts out to everybody because we don't hear digital. And so I forgot the exact name of it, but it converted our signal here from analog to digital, and it wouldn't send it over T1.
Right.
So we talked for 2 hours not knowing if we were on the air or not.
Well, you had carrier. I used to be a ham radio guy. You had carrier, but no transmission.
Yes.
After that, you didn't have carrier, so I figured something was going on.
Well, I think we still have a little technical problem. I think we still have a little static in the signal, but I think we'll fix that.
And so while we were talking, we had people in here crawling around and talking about doohickeys and stuff.
I understand. Hey, rhubarb.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I grew up in Michigan till I was about 10, and my grandfather, he was a gardener, man. That was all, his garden was his pride and joy. Told you about him, York mules all the time in it before.
Mm-hmm.
But, he always told me that he would try to grow rhubarb out there in Dixon County when we moved down there, but he told me that the rhubarb just won't grow here because the soil, it takes a really loamy, peaty soil, which Michigan is just full of it, 6 feet deep. That's some good soil up there for rhubarb, and plus the cooler weather. And I tried to grow it here. I actually dug my garden a pit out and just filled it with, peat, compost. It would grow, but the stalks were spindly. I never had luck even doing it that way with rhubarb because I loved it when I was a kid, and I never had any luck though.
Well,
So just buy it at Walmart.
Do you think it's just the temperature then if you
soil,
It's probably because Michigan is a lot. It's a cooler temperature zone, whatever. And but I know there was a big old man named DeCack that lived down the road from us. We used to sneak up a drainage ditch and steal his rhubarb all the time. And when I was a kid, we'd sit there and eat it till we got sick. But and throw the bigger stalks at cars as they went by. I was a delinquent when I was a kid. So
when you were a kid, RD.
Combination.
Hey, RD.
Combination heat and soil. Oh.
RD online, the public television down out of Chattanooga, they have a online documentary about underground Chattanooga. I know you know a little bit about that.
Yep.
I thought you might want to look at that.
Yeah, I'll check that out.
It's a bit limited.
It's not a huge thing, but you may want to check that out.
Yeah, I'm putting my garden in again this year. You know, last year I just concentrated on getting Mom and Dad moved in, but I've got about 35 by 75 foot patch. I'm desperately trying to keep tilled, but in this weather I need 3 days of sunshine, and I'm getting 2 days of sunshine and rain and 2 days of sunshine and rain, so it's killing me.
I know, our friend Kenneth Roark down in McDonald had trouble planting his potatoes because it was just too wet, and he's saying he's afraid that he didn't get his potatoes in time. He does it by the signs, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. So, but I just asked about.
Well, thank you, RD.
Oh, crazy. Okay, well, I'm growing Roma tomatoes now. Last time I did it, I had 450 pounds.
Woo! We just need to come to your house and get some tomatoes.
RD, you know where I am. You're going to have to prove that fact.
Okay, you got it.
Thank you, RD. Bye-bye.
Ron, let's mention one more time the Pancake Day.
Yeah, it goes on to 10:30 today. The Kiwanis Club, $7 for pancakes and sausage and a drink here. It's the fundraiser they do every year. Gosh, they've been doing it 50 or 60 years, I think. It's been a long time to be doing that. It's right outside Whoop Radio out here, right outside the Bald-Headed Bistro. You can sit outside or you can go inside and seat. So come on down, $7 a head. They'll be here till 10:30, and it's good food, and you can come in and wave us here at Whoop Radio. Hey, that's it for Make It Grow this week.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Any final thing we
Remind the folks about what's going on.
Come out to Green Day at Cleveland State, 10 to 2.
And we think it's out by the tennis courts.
And tennis courts and the ball fields.
And I'd be glad to answer your questions or trade some plants with you, or lots of good stuff going on there. Thank you, Ricky, for what you do with the juvenile program. I think that is probably one of the best things going to help kids out in this community. And thank you so much. And guys, we'll be back here next week at 9 o'clock with Make It Grow.
Bye-bye. Stay tuned for Old Town Cleveland here coming up in about 15 minutes. Bye-bye.
Whoop FM is a non-profit community radio station that is made possible by generous donations by individuals and the following sponsors.
Hello, this is Josh Weekly with the Bald-Headed Bistro. With spring in the air and summer around the corner, come see us for an enjoyable night out on the town. You can enjoy our covered patio or sit in our intimate dining room. Either way, you'll leave happy. Also, check us out on Facebook for great summer events like Supper Club, Chef Dinner, and weekend specials. Hope to see you soon here at the Bald-Headed Bistro.
Looking to purchase your next pre-owned vehicle? At Buy Here, Pay Here USA, it's $500 today and drive it away. That's right. You can leave our lot with a new pre-owned vehicle for as little as $500 down. We also